I remember the exact moment I knew my marriage was dying. It wasn't some big fight. It wasn't cheating. It was a Tuesday night in March, cold as hell in Fort Worth, and we were watching some cooking show she liked, Chopped or Beat Bobby Flay, something like that. I had just gotten back from a long day under the hood of a diesel truck that leaked oil all over my boots, and I sat down beside her on the couch, still in my work shirt, smelling like grease and sweat, hoping for a little bit of closeness. Not sex, not anything crazy. Just, I don't know, a hand on mine, a smile, something that said, I still like you. So I scooted closer, rested my arm gently behind her on the couch, and she stiffened. Not subtle, like a board. Then, without even looking at me, she said, Josh, don't. I pulled my hand back like I touched fire. I didn't say anything at first. I just stared at the TV while my heart burned in my chest. Then I asked her softly, Don't what? Still not looking at me. She shrugged. Don't start that. The touching. I'm not in the mood. I wasn't either, to be honest. I wasn't trying to initiate anything. I just wanted to feel like her husband for a second. And that's when it hit me. I was married to a woman who no longer wanted to touch me. Not kiss. Not hug. Not even sit close. I was just a warm body in her house who paid the rent, took out the trash, fixed the sink, and apparently asked too much by wanting to rest a hand on her shoulder after a 10-hour workday. That silence between us, it wasn't quiet. It was loud, deafening. I could hear every crack in our foundation in that moment. And the worst part? She didn't even think it was a problem. She didn't flinch. She didn't apologize. She just kept watching TV like I hadn't just been punched in the chest with her indifference. Let me back up a second. I'm 35. Name's Josh Turner. I run a mobile mechanic service out in Tarrant County. I drive around with my tools, fix people's engines, brakes, alternators, whatever's broken. I used to come home to a woman who'd greet me with a kiss at the door, ask about my day, and laugh at my dumb jokes. Her name's Rachel. She's 33. She's a nurse. Works nights at Methodist Mansfield. And when we first got together, damn, she was fire. Smart, sarcastic, beautiful. We met at a 4th of July barbecue 10 years ago, back when I had a busted F-150 and a dream. She liked that I worked with my hands. Said it made me grounded. Said it was hot. Back then, we couldn't keep our hands off each other. Now, we don't even hold hands in public anymore. And it's not because we're busy. It's not because we're tired. It's because she doesn't want to. And if you think I'm exaggerating, let me tell you something that'll sound small, but it cut deep. One night, I reached out to kiss her goodnight, just a soft one on the cheek, nothing wild. And she literally wiped it off. She didn't realize she'd done it, I think. It was reflex. But man, that crushed me. That was when I stopped trying. I started taking mental notes. You know how men do. We don't cry. We don't shout. We notice. Quietly. Patiently. And I started seeing the pattern clear as day. Her phone was always face down. She went from wearing jeans and makeup at home to baggy hoodies and sweatpants, even on weekends. No more date nights. No more good morning kisses. Even during holidays, she avoided any kind of closeness. Thanksgiving, we had her parents over, and when I put my hand on her back during dinner, she literally flinched. In front of her dad. He caught it. Looked at me with this awkward, half-sympathetic smile like, sorry, man. I stopped bringing up intimacy. Not just sex. I'm talking emotional intimacy. Sitting close on the couch. Eating dinner together instead of separately. Sharing things. Laughing. That stuff's important. And it was gone. I once tried to talk about it. Sat her down in the kitchen on a Saturday morning and said, Rachel, I feel like we're roommates. Not partners. She was sipping her coffee, scrolling on her phone. She looked up for half a second and said, You're overthinking again. Don't be so needy. Needy? I fix cars in the sun all day. I carry the financial weight of the house. I paid for her second nursing certification. I do all the yard work, pay the damn electric bill, and this woman thinks asking for a kiss makes me needy? I didn't yell. I didn't slam anything. I just nodded and got up. That's when I realized this wasn't burnout. This wasn't a rough patch. This was a woman who'd checked out and never told me. A woman who didn't want out of the marriage, but wanted the benefits of the marriage without having to give love, affection, or respect in return. And what made it worse? She expected me to keep functioning like a husband while she stopped functioning like a wife. Rent's due. I pay it. Gas tank's empty. I fill it. Groceries? I buy them. Her car needs new brake pads. I install them for free in the driveway. Her mom's birthday? I buy the damn flowers. All that while sleeping next to a woman who wouldn't even lean her head on my shoulder during a movie. You ever lay next to someone in bed, 2 inches away from their skin, and feel 1,000 miles apart? It's not the silence that hurts. It's the absence. And still I waited. Hoped. Thought maybe it was just stress. Maybe she'd come around. Maybe she'd have one of those moments where she remembered who I was to her. But no. Weeks turned into months, and her affection just dried up like a creek bed in August. And that Tuesday night on the couch, that moment when she told me don't without even turning her head, that was the final straw. I saw it clear. I wasn't her husband anymore. I was just the guy who paid the bills while she emotionally checked out and expected me not to notice. So I made a quiet decision that night. If love was off the table, then so was everything else. The day I decided to stop funding my own humiliation started with a simple question. Did you get the groceries today? Rachel didn't even glance up from her phone. She just mumbled no. I didn't have time. You could have stopped after work. Let me explain something here. That day, I had crawled under a Chevy Suburban in 91-degree heat, with sweat dripping down my back, fighting rusted suspension bolts on a driveway in Crowley. I didn't eat lunch. I didn't even have a cold drink until 4 p.m. My shirt was soaked through. My knuckles were bleeding from a slipped socket wrench. But I came home, like I always did, expecting at least basic cooperation. Not love, not affection, just a stock fridge like we talked about. But nope. Instead, she had a full day off and still managed to do absolutely nothing. Not groceries, not laundry, not even cleaning up the damn Sonic cup she left on the counter the night before. And that's when something snapped in me, not in anger, but in clarity. You want to know what it's like to be a man who gives everything to a marriage, only to get less and less in return every year? It's like being the only one rowing a boat that the other person is actively poking holes in. I looked at her, standing there in her fluffy socks and oversized hoodie, sipping her iced coffee, scrolling through TikTok videos of couples dancing and laughing, while her own marriage was rusting like a junkyard Mustang. And I said, calm and cold, you don't want to kiss me. You don't want to hug me. You don't want to even look at me like a husband anymore. So why exactly am I paying for your life? She blinked, surprised. Excuse me, I'm not your husband anymore, right? I'm your ATM. I'm your handyman. Your personal valet. You don't love me. You don't respect me. But you expect me to carry you through this life like we're still a team. She scoffed. You're being dramatic. No, I said. I'm being honest. From this moment on, you get exactly what you give. I turned around, walked to my home office, and opened every account we shared. Canceled her card. Took my name off her phone line. Revoked her access to the shared gas card. Deleted her from the Kroger account. I even canceled the streaming services because, damn it, if she didn't want to be part of this relationship, she didn't get the luxuries that came with it. This wasn't petty. It wasn't impulsive. It was overdue. She wanted independence. She had it. You see, most people assume revenge has to be loud, destructive, a big explosion. But let me tell you something real. The most powerful revenge is silence and subtraction. Subtract the money. Subtract the comfort. Subtract the man she thought would always stay, no matter how cold she became. That night, she came into the bedroom after 2 hours of ignoring me. So what, you're cutting me off now? She said, arms crossed, voice sharp. No, I replied, pulling on a clean t-shirt. I'm just matching your energy. You cut me off emotionally months ago. I'm just following your lead. Her voice cracked, just a little. This isn't fair. Neither is living with someone who withholds affection but expects unconditional support. This isn't marriage anymore. It's a business deal. And sweetheart, the contract's broken. I didn't sleep in that bed that night. I took a pillow and crashed on the couch. She didn't follow me. She didn't even say goodnight. But the next morning, something had shifted. She came into the kitchen while I was packing my lunch. I saw her eye the leftover takeout container in the fridge. She opened it. Nothing inside for her. I pour my coffee. She opened the pantry. Empty on her side. I had moved my snacks, my cereal, my protein bars to a bin labeled Josh, labeled it with tape like we were college roommates again. She stood there holding the pantry door, quiet for a moment. So, this is how it's going to be now? I shrugged. You said no touching, no kissing, no hugging. I figured that meant no more us. And if there's no us, then there's no groceries, gas, or rent for me. I'm not subsidizing emotional abandonment. She didn't say anything after that. Just walked off. That day, I felt like it was the first day in years I felt like I had control again. Not over her, over myself. And let me tell you what happened over the next few days. She started getting tense. I noticed her card got declined at the gas station. She texted me about it. I left it on read. She asked me if I wanted to grab groceries together like we used to. I said I already shopped for myself. She tried to strike up small talk in the evenings. I answered in short, polite sentences. Never cold, never cruel, just detached. And that's when she started realizing what she'd lost. Not the money, not the convenience, but the man who'd once been so patient, so giving, so damn loyal, even when he was empty inside. Now I was just a ghost in her house, present, but unreachable. She tried to put on makeup one day before I came home. The same lipstick I used to love. She cooked dinner and set a plate for me. I thanked her and didn't touch it. That night, she knocked on my office door, something she hadn't done in years. Josh, can we talk? I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw the fear in her eyes. Not because I was angry, but because I wasn't anymore. I wasn't hoping anymore. I wasn't trying. I wasn't begging for scraps of affection. And that scared her more than any screaming match ever could. So I said, talk. Sure. But only if it's a conversation, not a performance. I'm done being the only one hurting. You know what's worse than heartbreak? Realizing you meant nothing to someone you gave everything to. That's the part people don't talk about. That slow, aching realization that while you were out there killing yourself to provide, to stay loyal, to be a good man, she was just clocking out of the relationship every day like it was a part-time job she secretly hated. After I cut Rachel off, financially, emotionally, physically, she thought it was a phase. She thought I'd crack. Thought I'd come crawling back, begging for affection like a stray dog waiting for scraps at her table. But what she didn't understand is this. When a man reaches a certain level of silence, it's already over. Not loud, not explosive, just gone. The night I left the house was calm. No yelling, no threats, no tears. I packed 2 duffel bags, threw my tools in the back of my truck, and left the keys on the counter next to a note that simply said, "You said no, love. I'm just respecting your rules." I moved into a small apartment over in Weatherford. It wasn't fancy, just a 1-bedroom above a family-owned butcher shop on Fort Worth Highway. The place smelled like smoked meat on Thursdays, and the water heater was touchy. But I'll be honest with you, it was the first time in years I actually felt free. No passive-aggressive silences. No emotional games. No more feeling like a ghost in my own home. I had peace, and I protected it like gold. People think men fall apart after separation, that we spiral, that we start drinking or chasing younger women or crying in empty beds. And sure, some guys do, but I didn't. Instead, I built. I put every ounce of energy I used to waste begging for Rachel's love into me. I started getting up at 5 a.m., hitting the gym before work. I neglected my health for years, too busy grinding to notice the gut I'd grown or the circles under my eyes. But now, I had time. I had focus. I upgraded my mobile mechanic business, bought better tools, wrapped the truck in custom branding, created a website, started getting steady calls from people outside of town, Granbury, Aledo, Benbrook. Business was booming. And I'll tell you something funny. For the first time in years, people saw me. Customers complimented my work ethic. Friends started texting again. Hell, even the waitress at the little Mexican place down the street, Marcella, started remembering my name and asking how my day was going. Meanwhile, Rachel was unraveling. The first 2 weeks after I left, she went quiet. No texts, no calls. I think she still thought I'd come back. Week 3, she started poking. Hey, hope you're okay. No reply. Week 4, can we talk? I've been thinking. Left on read. Then came the guilt tactics. You just abandoned me? After everything we've been through, you're acting like I'm some kind of monster. I didn't respond. Not because I wanted to hurt her, but because I didn't know her any more of me. And that's what hit her hardest. She couldn't handle that I was no longer available. That the man who used to beg for her touch, used to fold himself in half just to make her comfortable, was now unreachable. Then one day, I got a text from a mutual friend, Derek, who worked with her at the hospital. It said, "Bro, your ex is falling apart at work. Looks rough. You good?" I didn't ask for details. Didn't need to. Because when you live a life built on someone else's loyalty and take it for granted, when that loyalty walks away, you're forced to face your own reflection. And for Rachel, that mirror shattered fast. I heard she was behind on the rent. Her car's registration expired. She even called my old mechanic buddy, asking if I'd still fix her brakes for free. I told him to tell her I charge full price for strangers. And that's exactly what she had become, a stranger. One night, I was sitting on the tailgate of my truck after a long job, sipping a cold beer, watching the sun sink over Lake Weatherford when I got her last message. It just said, "I miss the way you used to love me." I didn't know how good I had it. And you know what? That's when I knew I'd won. Not because she was suffering, but because I no longer needed her to admit she was wrong. I had built a life beyond her. One with peace, purpose, and self-respect. One where I wasn't giving more than I was receiving. Where I wasn't walking on eggshells in my own damn house. Eventually, I did go out with Marcella, the waitress from the taco joint. Sweet, funny, no drama. First date, we walked barefoot down the Trinity River trails, and she held my hand like it meant something. It wasn't about replacing Rachel. It was about remembering who I was before her coldness made me forget. So if you're a man reading this, and you're where I was, carrying the whole marriage on your back while getting crumbs in return, let me tell you something nobody told me. You don't have to scream to be heard. Just leave, quietly, with dignity, and let them feel the silence they created. Rachel told me, no kissing, no hugging, no touching. So I told her, no rent, no gas, no groceries. But the real message was this: no love, no me. And that's how I got my life back.